Hello everyone, welcome to the next part of the quarterfinals. This time I believe we are on the winners bracket. We have Humpster versus Silva, seed 1 versus seed 6. I'm excited to see this match. I've been seeing some talks about Humpster being a very good player, and Silva also being someone who is who's now competing against them as well in the same bracket. Also is showing, their worth as a very good player. So I have a feeling this will be quite a close match. Both these players very talented in their ability to play this game, and both just strong players as a whole. So I feel like even if this match isn't a close match, the scores at minimum will be fantastic from both these players. They will be playing their warm-ups, so you get to see a small bit of an insight to their ability if you haven't seen either of these players play before. And I'm just excited in general to see them play. I should also mention this is the first match being streamed of the winners bracket and the first match of the winners bracket in general, so from this point onwards we get to see a lot more of that upper bracket fighting each other out. And because of that, if either of these players do lose this match, they don't have to worry too much just yet because they can still fight in the losers bracket. Alright, first warm-up. Buy or Not by Psyche. I think that's how you pronounce it. I actually don't know. But, it's already going to guaranteed to be a banger. I think you can tell that Humpster just woke up because they are really needing this warm-up. Taking the warm-up was honestly probably the best idea you can take. To be fair though, this map is also quite difficult in general. I mean, it's a 6.6 star tech map. This stuff's technically harder than Cycle Hit. And Cycle Hit's always just difficult. That's the first comparison that came to mind. I don't know why. They're such different maps, but I think Cycle Hit came to mind first. It's the first map I think of when I think underappreciated star rating maps. Like, how is Cycle Hit barely 6 stars? Like, don't get me wrong. It's not a 7 star. I'd never say it is. But it should be like 6.3, 6.4 at minimum. Unless it is now and I've not seen it in a while. But I still think it should be. And that is the first warm-up map done. I don't know if they'll take a second warm-up map. They might do, might not. It's up to the players. Humpster doesn't seem all too warmed up right now, but that will likely change as the match goes on. Silva looking quite decent right now, not too shabby. Holding up well, and with the fact this map's probably not something that they've both practiced, it's no one's expecting some crazy scores. It's not the match. This isn't worth the points, so they don't need to worry about it too much. Of course. It's too early to start playing. Oh, so let me sit in bed and watch YouTube. Humpster, it's 3 PM, bro. Like, I'm tired as well, but, like, it's 3 PM. Get out of bed, bro. Although to be fair, a nap does sound quite nice right now, I can't lie. Oh, what a banger. Whoever's picked this as a warm-up, I absolutely love you. This is a banger. Wait, isn't this the one I used to play? Hold on. I know some research real quick. I think this is the one I play. The diff I play. Or I played, sorry. In 1942. Yeah, when I set my score on this, like almost a year and a half ago, I was top 20 or top 30 on it. This is a banger map. Yeah, if you want to pick a warm-up, this is also a really good one because it's got quite a few good bursts in there. Got a good bit of aim. Some really annoying sections. Yeah, Hamster, wake up, bro. Come on. You're not in bed anymore. It's 3 PM. Wake up. 1942. Silva running hard rock on this, genuinely respectable, but I feel like it's so difficult to aim with hard rock. I mean, the aim on this map's already so annoying to get right sometimes as it is. So adding hard rock on top of that is just it's just different breed of aim, I guess. And Silva seems to be doing perfectly fine on it. Yeah, that part I'm mind blocked on, but it seems like Hamster did hit it, but then missed immediately after. I don't know why I'm commentating this map, so normally it is a warm-up map, but it's such a banger that I feel like I just kind of have to give it that credit. We'll say for a 6.89 star map, both our accuracies is very close. I was expecting, but I was kind of expecting our accuracy to be higher. This map's not too complex, but then again, it is also one of those ones where they're warming up. Neither of them are probably going to be going all out on this kind of map because, you know, they just want to save their energy for the actual match. And, you know, they're just not as practiced on it, probably. It's a map they'll play here and there, and it's honestly understandable, but it is a good map. To you in 1942. Oh God, closes at your door for Christmas. Such a good song. I'm so happy the DCS decided to make a map service, and I'm so happy to every GD that did put diff on this. Beautiful guitar solo. Oh my God, both players hitting the stream. Never mind. I'm so sorry, Hamster. Silva hitting the streams on hard rock. My goat right there. Is Silva nervous? Why, Silva, why are you shaking? The match hasn't even started. You haven't got to worry, bro. The world's at war, Santa Claus is at your door. This is probably the wrong term to use, but this ending feels like orchestral. I know it's the wrong word to use, but you know the feeling you get when you have a full orchestra doing just doing music. I don't know how to explain it. The ending of this song just gives me that feeling. Okay, towards the end, it seems that Hamster is starting to warm up now. Silva seems perfectly warmed up. That is both of the warm-up maps gone as well. And it is time for the players to roll for pick and ban order. I am intrigued for, you know, what they will pick. Especially when it comes to the bans. I'm very intrigued to what they'll pick. Silva rolls a 74 and Hamster rolls a 6. That is so unfortunate of a roll, but it means that Silva does get to pick if they want to ban first or second, or pick the map first or second. And it seems Silva is going to be going for the first ban. And it seems that Hamster's going to be going for the second pick. Map pick. That is our orders set. Silva is going to be taking their first ban now. It is ABBA format, so Hamster will get 2 bans immediately after, and then back to Silva. And then it will be Silva's map pick to start. And Silva's immediately going to get rid of that hidden 3, which has been quite a favourite among the players so far. I think in every match I've commentated of this round, we've seen this map get picked. But now it is time for Hamster to pick 2 separate bans. I'm not entirely sure on what they would go for ban-wise. So based on the fact that they just warmed up, my guess would maybe be the DT2. And I don't know any other ones. I just hope we see that No More 2 again. That No More 2 is so funny. It's just no lockout. It's so funny. Okay, that's DT1 gone. Yep, there we go. Help Myself by Baby No Money and Diamond Pistols is gone. Getting rid of that DT aim. I'm getting rid of the DT aim. Maybe they want to get rid of the No Mod one, the Hard Rock one. Maybe. And yeah, the Hard Rock one is gone, yeah. I'm sad to see it. Shipwrecked is an absolute banger, but it is what it is. And it is next ban for Silva. And DT2 is gone. Have we seen this DT2 played yet? I don't think so. Maybe it was the match earlier this morning at 11 AM that had been played, or maybe even some point yesterday that I just didn't know. But I don't think I know I've not seen the DT2 played yet in match. But Silva, with the first pick, is going to choose into that Hard Rock 2, going into the precision map, but not the most precise map in this pool. Now, this Hard Rock 2 is still on the shorter end, as you'd expect from a Hard Rock 2. 153 BPM, not too complex. You know, it's quite forgiving when it comes to how chill it is when it comes to playing the map, but it is once again, as expected from a Hard Rock pick, it is AR10, OD10, and again, it's a Hard Rock 2, so its precision is CS 6.5. Nothing too outlandish for the players, but nothing too comfortable either. Right, I believe that is the good luck have funds coming out from both of these players, which means we should be starting this map shortly. I don't believe the map has started. Okay. Oh, we had a small bit of an issue with Mavos internet dying, but I believe we should be back now for the match-wise. Bancho. Yeah, Bancho is just elite sometimes. It's unbeatable. Sarcasm is there. Don't worry. I'm just tired. Right, but I think the players are ready now. I think the good lucks have come out and the map has now started. The first map of this match. The first map of the quarterfinals winners bracket. Long day. Long day indeed. I'm still finding a very early miss on this map, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be this quick for a miss for them. But maybe they're not as comfortable as Silva is when it comes to these precision picks. But Silva does find a very unfortunate slider break, which isn't traded out by Humpster, but Humpster is on a quite decent bit of lower accuracy, almost 4% lower, and about 40 combo ahead, but that score lead is going to keep moving slowly in favor of Silva right now. Now, that 40 combo isn't going to be doing wonders just yet, not when Silva's accuracy is at 97% compared to Humpster's 94.3. But if there's a one more break from either of these players at this point, I think that will cause a scoreline shift, a dramatic scoreline shift, in fact. But both these players seem to have found their footing on this map. They seem to have found their comfort, and they are starting to play. Humpster recovering actually to 96%. Silva at 98%. And the scoreline does move over to Humpster, but for a fraction, and he misses immediately. Silva still holding on to that combo, capitalizing on that score. Even with a small lag drop coming out, it doesn't matter because they're still holding on to the 300 combo, but they miss. Humpster now leading with the combo, but not leading with accuracy. There's 40k score left, but it doesn't matter because Humpster does find an unfortunate miss, and I don't think there's going to be enough time, even if Silva misses here, to make that recovery of 60k scoreline. Which means that the first point will be going to Silva. Yeah, Silva with actually quite incredible one miss. It was a slider break that was the start of the map. And they just held on to just enough combo to move that point over into their favor and win the first point. It was very well played from both players. Humpster did almost make a comeback towards the end, but that last miss really, really unfortunately just ruined any chance they had. It was so close, but so far. It was well played, but it is Humpster's pick now, which means they can start to fight back, taking a point for themselves if they pick correctly here. There are so many maps on the board, so many different skill sets on the board, so they are so free to pick just anything they're comfortable with here, really. And it seems that Humpster's going to be picking into that hidden too. Another AJT map. Both in the modded 2 category. Yeah, going into that low AR hidden. I'm intrigued to how these players will play it. I've not seen Humpster play hidden. With it being their first pick, I'd assume they're quite confident on hidden. I'm interested to see what scores come out from these players. I believe the internet has gone out for Mabosic, which is going to be super unfortunate. The Hidden 2 has now officially been picked. Alright, this Hidden 2 is shorter than the Hard Rock 2. It's 1 minute 47. The BPM being a bit higher at 195. But the AR and OD both being significantly lower at AR8, OD8, and CSI being significantly easier at CS4, which is what something you'd expect from a standard map, except I wouldn't consider a Hidden 2 to be a standard map. That low approach rate, especially with Hidden, can be so difficult to read if it's not something you're comfortable with. And even if you are comfortable with it, AR8's Hidden is almost a completely different beast in its own. And is that a miss on the second note coming out from Humpstar? I think it was. Which is going to give a very early and very small lead to Silva to start the map out, but the accuracy lead will be a quite decent bit to start out with. But Humpster seems to be doing just fine now, getting into the rhythm of things. And Silva does find a break, which is going to be super unfortunate. It is a quarter into the map, so there's still time to make a comeback if it comes to it. But the second miss comes out from Silva, as Humpster now is just building onto that combo, building a score lead to 40k and growing. Not really worrying about these really awkward aim pans, and Silva does find another unfortunate miss. But Humpster isn't too panicked right now. They're just holding on to that combo. They're not looking shaky at all. They're looking quite calm, looking quite confident. The accuracy being quite a bit lower than Silva's by 2%, but the combo is just there. Halfway through the map, they miss on the second note, and I don't think they want to find another miss because of it. As Silva does find another unfortunate miss on that stream. That low AR hidden rate is just coming into play now. Like, it can seem so easy to read if you're not actively playing, but then when you do start playing, some of these notes just feel like they shouldn't be where they are. And streams, for some reason, just become so much harder to get right on the flow aim-wise, because you're aiming so far behind what you're used to seeing. But for Humpster, who seems to have put so much practice into these Hidden 2s, really isn't having a single problem. 96%, and the act is growing. The combo at this point might as well just be a technical FC. Even if they did miss on that second note, we might as well practically count it as a full combo. As they end the score, oh god damn it! Why is it 2 matches in a row? I don't see it. Go away. Either way, that is a point for Humpster, even if the number was there. And it does equalize this score in general, 1-1. Alright, it seems Silva going to be picking into the DT4, going to I Want You Back by NSYNC. Going into these linear patterns on DT, quite a bit of a difficult map when it comes to I guess the aim control is the best way to put it. It's one of those old style maps where it's super linear. It's basically grid mapped. And if it's not a map style that you're used to playing, it's definitely something that's going to be super awkward to play. There are some styles where even if you don't play that kind of map, you can kind of pick it up quite quickly because you're used to just how some people map in the more modern era of those two. However, this mapping just throws you straight back to 2012 with just those, you know, those grid style patterns, how difficult it can be to get right, and throwing DT on top of that, making it so the approach rate, don't get me wrong, isn't difficult by any means. It's 9.7, but it's the aim and tapping itself that gets mixed in on this map that does become a small bit of a problem, which you can see pretty much from the get-go on this map. And early in, Silva showing a very high level of confidence right now, holding an SS in the first 140 notes, and does drop the SS now. However, still holding an accuracy lead over Humpster, who is only just a fraction behind at 98%, but does find the early miss at the start of the Ki, which means Silva's score is just going to explode and catapult further into their favor. It is by 40k right now because, you know, it's just still early in that combo, still only 250 combo. But that combo lead is starting to start doing them some massive favors early in. That score lead has already grown to almost 100k. Just with, you know, not even 200 combo difference. The accuracy is in lead for Humpster, but it's that combo that he's just having to catch back up on, and now is the perfect opportunity for it, because Silva finds such an unfortunate miss on this Ki. Are they just trading Ki's at this point? Because I think there's only one more after this. But that score lead is closing so quickly. It was growing so slowly for Silva. The score lead was there, yeah, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't becoming unsurmountable. But for their miss now, Silva's scoreline is just being overtaken so much quicker than they had a chance to grow. But Humpster finds a miss, not even in the Ki this time, which means Silva's score is going to keep growing again back in their favor. That overtake didn't even get to happen. This map got so close with both of them trading, not trading misses, but trading Ki's on where their misses were. And Silva finding the miss on the second Ki made it so stressful. But because Humpster found a miss right at the ending, the overtake didn't happen. And Silva wins their pick and wins the second point for themselves and the third point of the match in total. Holy, Jesus. No words for how close that got. That got terrifying, I will say. It was so close. So well played from both players, but Silva does take out the point there, and it is now back to being Humpster's pick. Maybe they pick into the hidden one, they showed confidence on that hidden ability. Maybe they pick into something a bit different, maybe they go to the no mod 4. Instead they pick the DT3. Ooh, going to something a bit tapping orientated. Knowing that, you know, Silva has banned the DT2. Maybe you've seen that maybe they're not as confident when it comes to those burst heavy maps. Now BPM wise, yes, it's definitely significantly lower than that DT2, but stamina wise, I'd still obviously say DT2 is a bit more difficult. It's got a bit more finger control to it, but this has so many repeating bursts that the map itself is just almost unrelenting, and the fact that it just almost doesn't stop, except from one small section where you get a chance to, you know, maybe recover the stamina, get a small bit of a breath. But then it kicks straight back off to those 213 BPM bursts that are just littered all around the map. And early in, it shows Silva showing a good bit of an accuracy lead here. Saying about 98.5 compared to Humpster's 93.3. But this could be a combo game if it comes to it, because they're a quarter of the way in, but they're both holding on to full combos. But there it is, there's the miss from Humpster. Which means Silva's scoreline is going to keep expanding further and exponentially. And especially the fact this is quite a short map. their scoreline can just start exploding, and it already is. It's almost 100k already. When you compare that to the DT4 where their misses were, and it took them so long to get to the 100k gap, this is looking so much more in favor of Silva, and it's just unrelenting. I mean, Silva's not having a single problem. Almost a 99% accuracy on this. And Humster is 94.4, but is recovering that combo now. So if Silva does find a miss, Humster does have a good chance at bringing it back. There's still half the map remaining. And there's the miss coming out from Silva. I believe it's a slider break, but Humster does trade it out, which means any chance of score recovery has just been demolished. The score lead is still so in favor of Silva, and now that Humster doesn't have combo, and Silva's regrowing their combo and rebuilding it in general, I don't think there's going to be a chance for Humster to recover this point. Score gap of about 160k in favor of Silva. Or 180k now, sorry. 70 combo between the two difference between the two players, and 2% accuracy. Both combo and accuracy in favor of Silva on this ending. There's nowhere major anymore for either of these players to, you know, recover score, to overtake the other. So Humster is just kind of in a situation where there's, you know, this is the first breakpoint on the board for them. You know, Silva's now taking, you know, the lead in score in general, and now has their own pick too. It is not a situation you want to be in if you're Humster, because, I mean, they still put out a 476k. It's not exactly a bad score, but Silva just came out with one slider break and then recovered immediately. It is Silva's pick. They could extend this lead further if they really want to, going to that 4-1 if they pick correctly here. And, you know, maybe they capitalize on the breakpoint they've just got and the fact they're now, you know, possibly on a chance of getting 3 points in a row, building that momentum, that confidence, definitely going to be there right now. But it is dependent on what they pick next, and Silva does go into that no mod 1, picking into the raw aim, picking I Wish by Skilo. Pick the good songs. I think a lot of people have been going for that strategy in the quarterfinals, and it's been working for a lot of players. A lot of these good songs are just good maps as well. Can't believe you banned Shipwrecked. Yeah, banning Shipwrecked was, just can't believe it. Banning the best song in the pool, just unbelievable. I don't think this map needs an introduction. I think most players know this map now, especially the fact that everyone I've seen so far knows the lyrics to this song. But for those who don't know this song or this map, it is a raw aim. It is just that standard raw aim map. It is just standard no mod 1 that does get harder as the map goes on, with the spacing between the jumps getting further and further. And there are some really awkward reading to aim control sections of this map every now and then. One of them being right there, where you have to kind of fight against yourself and get the fight against the flow to hit a note. And yeah, this map does have that, you know, has a bit of complexity. And I didn't even notice, but Silva does find a miss early in and finds another one, which means Humster's going to be taking an early lead here with high accuracy of 98 and 250 combo. Silva is now going to be the one fighting up to try and get, you know, that combo built back up, trying to build up the accuracy, and, you know, just kind of hoping that, you know, Humster misses soon and that they can build their combo ahead to, you know, recover that scoreline. But on a section like this, I don't think Humster's going to be finding any misses just yet. But a section like this, however, I feel like there could be misses coming out because the key eyes in this song are going to be so difficult to get right. And there's the miss coming out from Humster, as I was saying. Just getting a small bit of an under aim, I believe. But Silva also does trade out the miss, which means that score lead of 50k in favor of Humster isn't going to be closing anytime soon. Just 20 combo difference between these two players. And as I go to mention it, they both of them miss. Again, trading each other out. Accuracy is now in lead of Silva. However, that scoreline is still 40k in favor of Humpster. And now also just holding about 8 combo leads. So the combo lead's, you know, practically non-existent. But the first combo lead coming out is now kind of the main precedent behind the scores going on. But Silva does find a miss at the start of this Ki, which is super unfortunate for them if they wanted to try and claw back this score. There's still a third of the map left, and this map does get a lot more challenging. So if they are able to hit, you know, for this point onwards, there is definitely going to be a chance now that Humpster's opened up with a miss. But this, again, this sections of the map, this last quarter is so difficult to get right, and both of them hit the really awkward square, where the flow of the pattern just doesn't feel right at all, but neither of these players seem to have a problem with it. Silva is leading with combo and accuracy again, however, they're still about 10k score behind, but Humpster finds another miss. We're literally coming to the last endings of the map, the last fifth of the map, and Silva has clutched out with, you know, just getting that combo and accuracy built up, as I was saying, which means that score lead has now flicked over to their side, and there's not too much left of this map, and there is only about this last Ki, and holding on to that 400 combo right now, Silva, and Humpster's trying to catch up with 150, but they are fighting such an uphill battle, and the score lead's already grown more than enough that I think Silva's managed to clutch this point out. Silva's managed to clutch the point out. I don't understand how. They were looking so shaky on the intro. Both of these players, well, not both of these players, sorry. Silva's looking shaky on the intro, and then got to the middle of the map. Both players look shaky, but Silva just seems to have locked in on the ending, making this go to 4-1 in their favor. But Humpster is immediately answering back, picking into the no mod 5, genuinely before the map had even ended. What a performance from Silva there. I can't believe it. It was so quick. Like, it generally just last moment clutch from Silva. It's so impressive. I can't even lie. Alright, the good luck's come out from both players. Let's get into this no mod 5. This no mod 5 is intense. It is so short for what this map is. It is 222 BPM burst streams, whatever you want to call them, but it is intense the entire way through. Sure, the OD is somewhat forgiving at OD 9, but that doesn't stop the fact this map's so intense still, and Silva finds a very early break on this map. And the intensity showing its colors immediately on this map. Humpster coming out with a solid 99.5% accuracy to start the map out with, which is quite impressive if you ask me. And Silva is now going to be back again in the same position they were last map. They're going to be fighting up against Humpster, trying to build the accuracy, trying to build a combo. But the quarter of the map is already over. They have literally 3/4 of the map remaining. Just about a minute or just a bit over. There's not going to be that long left to fight. But this map is so easy to find unfortunate misses on. There's so many bursts littered everywhere. So many small bits of aim. So many sliders. And both of these players are comboing against each other right now. 400 combo in favor of Humpster and just about 300 combo for Silva. 100 combo separating both players and 2% accuracy difference. And neither of them miss on that section. The long stream doesn't catch either of them out. The guitar kicking off, and neither of these players are going to be giving up anything. A miss from either of these players is going to spell out certain doom. So they are both holding on for dear life. Actually, drop coming out from Humpster, and so does Silva. They both drop 2% accuracy each. But Humpster's recovering it back up to 95. Silva recovering to 92.5. It is that combo difference right now with the last quarter of the map. 800 combo for Humpster. 750 for Silva. And even on this break, neither of them are showing any nerves. They are both so calm and collected right now. But Humpster finds the miss right at the end of the map. And then finds another one. So there could be a slight chance for an upset here. There's a 100k score with no map remaining practically. There's so much combo, but the accuracy isn't there for Silva, which I think is the thing that dooms them. 30k difference. And I genuinely think the only reason the score wasn't able to flip over in time is that 92% accuracy for Silva, which is so unlucky. The opening was right there, that miss right at the end from Humster, but he held on to accuracy for dear life, that 95%. Even when he had hit hundreds on an entire stream, he'd climbed it right back up just to make sure a situation like that wouldn't be so close, and it worked out as the, Humster finds another point, ending the 3-point streak that Silva has been on. However, it is Silva's pick again, and there are still so many maps open, but there are significantly left. I mean, there are still 3 different no-mod picks, and, a hidden pick and a hard rock pick. And it seems that Silva's going to be picking into that hard rock 3. It is another one of those maps that I have not seen played in match just yet. It is a Scytho map. It is a Kendrick Lamar song. I'm interested to see what both these players will try to put out on this map.
Tell them the truth.
It's a good song. It's just a good song. This map is 3 minutes 32. It is a lower BPM map at 131. And it is just a simple 6-star map. So nothing too complex, nothing out of reach for either of these players. And the CS size is somewhat easier, with it being 5.3. So it is slightly higher than, an average hard rock map if it was CS4. However, it is also no hard rock 2.
Tell them you're...
I've been going through something. 1,855 days. I've been going through something. Be afraid.
What is a bitch in a miniskirt? A man in his feelings with bitter nerve. What is a woman that really hurt? A demon, you better off killing her. What is a relative? Make a repetitive narratives on how you did it first. That is a predator in reverse. All of your presidency with thirst. What is a neighborhood reputable? That is a snitch on a pedestal. What is a house with a better view? A family broken in variables. What is a rapper with...
I'm just enjoying the song right now, I won't lie.
What if I call on security? That mean I'm calling on God for purity.
But that is the intro over. It is quite a long intro. It's quarter of the map over. Actually starting out for Silva. 94% almost, as Humster is sitting at 90% accuracy. But both of them holding on to combo right now. Nothing too complex right now. It's just a lot of doubles, a lot of sliders. So it's relatively calm. Decent bit of aim. But nothing too frightening yet. The triples don't claim either player. But the map does start to pretty much kind of kick off at this point. Where, maybe it doesn't go crazy. Not like the hidden 3 or the normal 4. But it definitely does increase in that difficulty. And you can definitely see it quite quickly. But the map does kind of speed up. And Silva finds a very unfortunate set of misses there. Getting 3 misses on the same pattern. Whereas Humster has recovered the accuracy. And over-frames on the slow slider. They were on 400 combo, but that slow slider just catching them out so easily. So Silva is back to having that combo lead, but it's sitting 2% behind in that accuracy department. 3% behind in the accuracy department now. 100 combo difference between the players. Humster just now hitting the map a bit more comfortably. As I say, I'm so sorry. Finding a very unfortunate miss. And Silva is now back to comboing. That score lead is 55,000 and possibly going to start closing. But the accuracy difference is once again so different. It's so much greater for Humster, but they're just finding more misses again and again. If you want this map to go in your favor, Humster, you need to stop finding these misses. But they both trade each other out on that miss, which means Humster isn't in the danger zone anymore. There's still 30k difference between them, but they're both on the same combo. And Humster is holding the accuracy lead. Humster needs to not miss on this next section if he's hoping to close out this point for his favor. But it's also one of those cases where Silva needs to hold on in case that Humster does find that unfortunate break. 30k difference between them still. It hasn't closed, but they both traded out a miss. They both find multiple misses, in fact, on that section. It was almost an opportunity for Silva, but they found that miss so quickly after, so it just wasn't something they could capitalize on. And another miss coming out from Silva. The map has been set in stone. This is Humpster's point by about 50k. It was such a nice try for Silva. It was a good map pick. It's an enjoyable song, but sadly, it just wasn't enough to bring a point out from Humpster there, as they weren't able to capitalize on the misses that Humpster gave them. It is a 3 miss from Humpster, a 9 miss from Silva, and it was a nice try from Silva. There are still 2 points Silva needs to win, 3 for Humpster, and it is Humpster's pick, who immediately picks into the no mod 2. No bias, but I love this map. This map, if you haven't played it or haven't seen it yet, this map's Note Lock Hell. It is OD 8.6 with some really, not necessarily awkward stream, but some definitely infuriating streams, as I would put it, because they're so easy to over-aim, which is going to cause that note lock so badly. And with it being a lower AR at 9.4, there's so many more notes on at once. And it's 2 minutes. There's enough combo on this map to make recovery if you do find yourself in a no-lock position. But it's one of those ones you do not want to be in. Also, can someone tell me, is this a Celeste song? Or am I dumb? Okay, early accuracy lead coming out from Humpster, holding onto an SS to start the map with. But both of them going to be holding on to combo. But as I said, Silva just found a very unfortunate early break, which is going to be not ideal for them. They're holding on to 99% accuracy, so this time they are able to fight back should Humpster find a miss. However, this map, if you're so comfortable on streams, it's so easy to hold on to accuracy, so easy to hold on to combo because it is so forgiving. But it is that moment that you do find a miss in the middle of the streams that it is over, and Silva showcasing that immediately because they did find a small bit of a note lock there on the ending of that stream, which means that score lead is going to keep growing for Humpster as his score is just going to keep, you know, increasing. His accuracy hasn't moved from the start of the map. I wonder why. 700 combo in, that OD 8.6 pulling in numbers for Humpster right now, holding onto accuracy so easily. Silva still seeing a solid 97.3 and building that combo back up. And, you know, Humpster does finally drop the SS, but manages to not find a miss or note lock, which is going to be super, you know, fortunate for them. As that 200 score difference coming out between these two players. There's still a third of the map left. If Silva holds onto that combo and Humpster does find themselves in a really unfortunate moment of note lock, there could still be a chance. But I wouldn't count on it because I don't think that Humpster's going to have any bit of a wavering moment here. They're showing so much confidence on this map, but it does get a bit more awkward, a bit more spaced. So there still is going to be a chance for an unlucky bit of over-aim. You know, flow aim is quite difficult to get correct. But Silva's also now holding on, getting to that 700 combo mark, 98%. But Humpster just isn't dropping. They're just not giving any opportunity for Silva to overtake. They're dropping accuracy, but they're not dropping combo. As they're coming towards the end of the map, closing in on this FC. And I mean, the point was already over, but I think this has solidified the fact that Humpster FC is the no more 2. And there it is, there's the FC coming out. No SS, sadly, but still close enough with it being 99% accuracy. 99.48, perfect combo. And Silva generally only losing due to an unfortunate early set of misses and a small bit of accuracy drop. It is 4-4. All I'm saying is it 2 more points and the match is over, or there's a tiebreaker. And tiebreaker between these two players would be very exciting. But it is Silva's pick. It's up to Silva to choose where they go next, what skill set they explore. They could go into this hidden, they could go into this no mod 4, no mod 3, or even the no mod 6, going into that position pick, going back basically to the hard rock 2, but slightly harder. as, you know, it's a point that they won earlier in the map, right? It's something they were comfortable on. The Hard Rock 2, they weren't all that shaky. They knew how to, you know, close out that point for themselves. And no more 6 is one of those maps where I think they can do it again. It is harder CS size. It is CS 7, I believe, with it being lower AR and lower OD. And being AR 8.7 and OD 7.7. But it is a much longer map this time. It is 3 minutes 52. This is such a consistency-based map for such, you know, really difficult levels of precision. But we did see Liam playing this map, someone who was, you know, shaking so violently during the map, but yet still pulled out one of the coolest scores I've seen on the map, especially during match. You know, not having nerves affect them. Maybe something like that could happen this time. Find a word in the back that you like. I can't read. Lazy. Boom. Perfect word right there. Or eat and drink. Eat and drink is also where it's at. Yeah, that early position really is showing for, you know, showing for this map. It's basically almost at that point where it's O2 for ants. Like, I could put my finger to the screen and the circles are literally just barely smaller than, like, the tip of my index finger. $98.8 for Humpster, 98 for Silva. And they're both still holding on to that combo, both at the 300 mark. No breaks yet for the first quarter, which is honestly quite surprising for, you know, how awkward this map can be to get right. And they're both just still holding on. The accuracies of just 0.2% difference. Genuinely, the difference of almost a 1 or 2 100s. As Silva does find an extra 100, but it's nothing too much of a problem yet. They're both still holding on to those 4 combos. And we're a third of the way into the map at the first proper break, and neither of them have found misses. I don't get how. Just genuinely about 10,000 score between them, difference between them, sorry. And all of it's coming out from the accuracy. But there's the miss coming out from Humpster, which is going to be super beneficial for Silva, who's going to start growing that score lead super slowly. There's not that much note density in this map, so growing the score line quickly is going to be quite difficult. But we are halfway through the map, and Silva is showing so much confidence, so much calmness on this map so far. Not shaking, not over-aiming, not even finding themselves into a pickle anymore. And they just keep comboing on, which means that score lead is going to start growing for them as Humpster does find another miss. That accuracy lead would be doing them favors, but they're not holding on to a combo where it can matter enough anymore. Lucky again, also. Like to get lucky. Yeah, Silva's still on the last quarter of the map, and they're still holding on to the full combo. This score is genuinely disgusting. This is not a map I thought I would see a score like this coming out. And Humpster is now recovering combo to about 200. But I'm going to be honest, with this score difference of 100k at this point in the map, and with how not dense this map is, it's going to be difficult to make a comeback, and especially with the fact that they both trade each other out on those misses. Which means Humpster isn't going to be able to start growing that combo lead anymore, because they did find the miss to trade out Silva, and they're going to be about 70 combo ahead now, but that combo difference isn't going to be enough to close a 100k score, I don't think. But Silva is finding more misses, but it is traded out by Humpster. This last quarter of the map really does become quite challenging, and that 100k difference just isn't going to close in time. Not with the last fifth of the map, especially with the fact that, you know, both these players are quite confident on this map pick, and Silva especially is pulling out an insane score on this so far, about a 430k right now, with still enough map left to grow that score further. It is no longer a 100k difference, it's actually about 80k difference, so it is closing slowly, but there's just not enough combo coming out from Humpster, especially with the fact they do keep finding misses after every few bits of combo they get. And with that accuracy lead, they had a chance. It was going to be a difficult chance. They'd have probably had to have FC'd the ending, which is super unlikely, but they'd still have that chance. However, again, FC'ing this ending is so difficult to get right, and Silva built the combo exactly where they needed to bring that point home, which means that Silva does win this point. They do send this match to map point. And it is, you know, it is actually Humster's pick. They have a chance to send this to tiebreaker. This is now at the point where it is tiebreaker or over for Humster. So it is going to be one of those ones where it's going to be super difficult to get right, and they're going to be playing for their lives. Now the question is, does Humster pick into the... never mind, they pick into the No More 3. I didn't even get a chance to say what I was thinking. To be fair, I didn't really even realize that No More 3 was open. But here we go, going to the alt map. Stupid by underscores. 136 BPM, almost 3 minutes, and 5.96 stars. Nothing too complex, nothing too, you know, overboard in difficulty. In fact, it might even be a bit lower on that difficulty for these players. But it's also a No Mod 3, so it can be quite complex despite this lower star rating. And the fin control really is going to come out into play for these players. However, with it being OD 8.5, maybe they won't be as stressed for the fin control. That's a triple back. Wait, what? Oh. Are we not? Are we... Hey? Apparently we're not going to No Mod 3. We're going to Hidden 1. I didn't even know that was a rule. Okay, we get to go to the Hidden 1. Decadence by Disturbed. Very good song, to be fair. My life ruined by a triple pick rule. Yeah, it's unfortunate. This is going to be a stressful point because, you know, it's not the map that Humster was originally wanting. But it's a map they have to play because it was the only map now available to them. And Silva just found an early miss, but it's early traded out by Humster. This map is going to be so much more tense for these players because they are literally fighting to end the match now or fighting to send it to tiebreaker. And the score lead is just slightly in favor early in for Humster, holding on to a small bit of accuracy lead, not even by a full percentage, but it's just behind on that combo, and does find a really unfortunate miss, which means Silva is now going to be on that 170 combo benefit for them, and the accuracy benefit now, 98.8% and growing. This map's 3 minutes. There is so much time for them to bring it back. But the nerves at this point must be at an ultimate high for Humster, but they're not letting it show just yet. You know, their accuracy is still solid. 97.8, 135 combo with, you know, 300 combo for Silva. Humster is going to be fighting this uphill battle. 1 point down in total on the match. Now down in combo, down in accuracy, down in score. But they still have over half of the map to recover. And they're currently doing a fantastic job of doing so. But Silva is showing so much confidence. They are so not worried anymore. They have something to fall back on if they lose this point. They don't need to worry about setting an insane score. And those nerves being gone would do them so much more benefit. But there is a miss coming out from Silva. And it is now Humster building up to that 400 combo. 97.8%. And that score lead is closing. It is 20k difference, 30k difference, sorry. 500 combo on the favor of Humster right now. But accuracy still in favor of Silva, who is now also recovering that combo to 200. And there's still a third of the map left. There's still so much time left for either of these players to find a miss to close out this map. But that score lead is switching over almost now in favor of Humster, who is holding on to an insane 600 combo, holding on to a nice 97% accuracy. Even with the intensity of this song, they do not waver, they do not panic. They are both playing so phenomenally well. It is just a difference in the placement of these misses, which is the only difference between their scores right now. But if a miss does come out from Humpster at any point now from this part onwards, Silva just needs to hold on to that combo. They're holding on to accuracy phenomenally well. It's just a difference between one miss, whether it does or doesn't happen, which will close out this map. It is all on Humpster right now just to hold on for dear life. There are 800 combo in. It is the ending of the map. There's still 50k difference between them. And an accuracy drop does come out from Silva. An accuracy drop does come out from Humpster. They're 97 to 98 respectively. But there's so little of the map remaining that I don't even think a miss at this point is going to close anything out. Because Humpster is at 950 combo, Silva at 630. And I believe that is tiebreaker time. As Humpster does hit the ending, so does Silva. And it was so tense. 3 misses each. Three misses each. Such close scores going back to back, neck to neck. And yet, we get to see that tiebreaker. This is probably the closest match I've seen so far. Not with just the scoreline of it being, you know, of it just being 5-5, but those scores in general, they are so tense. They're so close. And now it is time to experience cinema. It is Exodus Earth Atomosphere by Camellia. It is Roland Lyce's diff of the map. The breathless difficulty to be specific. It is 6.2 stars. It is 5 minutes long. It is Exodus Earth Atomosphere. It's an absolute banger. Get yourselves ready. I have a slight feeling that this map will also be another one to add to the list of how close it will be between these two players. The nerves will be at an all-time high for both of these players, but they don't need to be as stressed as they might be, because even if they don't win out on this point, because one of these players will, you know, sadly and unfortunately lose the map, they don't have to worry too much because they can move straight into that losers bracket right after. You know, if they lose this map, they're not out of the tournament yet, so they don't have to be too worried. But of course, that's not how it's going to work for these players. They both want to win so desperately. That's why they have been fighting tooth and nail for this entire match. So, I do wonder who will bring this map home. Bring this scoreline home. Alright, and the song has officially kicked off, getting into those bursts, those sliders to start the map, those doubles getting into the, you know, the bit more intense start of the map. Getting, especially compared to the very intro where it's just very slow, very easy to get. But the aim complexity needed for some of these doubles, it kind of reminds you of that cycle hit type mapping. And these slider bursts do catch Silva off guard really early in. The accuracy is in favor of Humpster right now, 97.7%. Combo in favor of Humpster right now. And Silva, who has just dropped combo unfortunately, and is also losing on the accuracy battle of 94%. But there's still 4.5 minutes of the map almost. They are nowhere needing to worry about their score. There's so much left to recover on. But there is quite a good bit of free combo here, which Humpster is going to start capitalizing on with that 500 combo. But, you know, getting to these slider sections, I don't even know what this would be called, the synth, maybe? I'm not a music terminology guy. But, you know, the song does have hitting those high notes, and getting those, what's the word? Just getting those shivers ready for the next part of the song where you can hear the build-up kicking off. Silva recovering that combo to 330. Humpster at 700 combo with 98% accuracy almost. Silva has recovered that accuracy, but the build-up is growing. The nerves are getting further. And the map kicks back off again, where the intensity does start to kick off. The slider's getting a bit more intense. Those bursts coming into play. But both of these players seem decently comfortable on this right now. Nothing to stress about. Not a problem for either of these players. Neither of them are going to be giving up anything for the other player as they get past this bit of a drop. But this one could start to catch them out. Those bursts into those sliders, the doubles, can get a bit more awkward if you're not, focused. But both these players are going to be focused. Of course they are. They've been playing this match for over an hour. They've been going at each other head-to-head for an hour, playing at the absolute best you possibly can, and they are both comboing through this section. The 1/3 section doesn't claim either of these players. Halfway through the map, Hamster is still on to an FC with 97.8%. And Silva, who did find a very unfortunate early slider break, is catching up on the combo at 800 combo, only 400 behind. So a miss at any point could cause a bit of a problem. The scoreline is 120k in difference, but, there's still over a third of map left. Still a good almost 2 minutes remaining. Both these players just quickly taking a bit of free combo that this map will be willingly giving them before the next part, where that free combo does start to disappear and build up does start to kick off again. Both players getting through the stream, both players getting through the sliders, and the slider stream doesn't claim anyone this time. And this kick-off has started. It is the drop of the song. It is the last quarter of the map. And Hamster is sitting at that 1600 combo, 1300 combo for Silva. And they are both just playing phenomenally. They should not be comboing this easily into this map, but yet both of them are. The nerves not coming into play for either of these players, I don't think. Both of them are so calm. Both of them are relaxed. They're just playing a map that they've probably not even practiced that much. But Hamster finds the miss, but Silva trades it out! There was such a good opportunity for Silva to close out the match, to come back. But it just ended like that. With 200 score difference between them. There was such a good opening. But both of them did trade each other out immediately. And the earlier miss coming in from Silva at the start of the map on the first slider burst, slider stream, is the only reason why this score difference is so major now. And even with that miss coming out from Hamster, it doesn't even matter. There's nowhere, and there's nothing of the map remaining. They are out of the Earth Atomosphere. It doesn't even matter. But that is Hamster winning the match, having a comeback, if anything. They were at 4-1, but then they clawed their way back up, getting themselves to tiebreaker, and then clutching out the map. It is GG's. One miss to both these players. One miss, one slider break each, I actually think it was. Or one miss and 2 slider breaks, I'm not entirely sure. That is GG's and well played. Yeah, Hamster, well played on that comeback. That was a very impressive play. Silva, it's unfortunate to see you go down to the losers bracket, but I do believe you will have an insane run down there because you played phenomenally this match. We are going to be going on to another match very shortly because there is one operating pretty much now. Thank you all for, watching this match, but stick around. We will literally be back in like a minute or two with the next match of, I believe it is Umaroth versus Morale.